Well, hello. It's great to see you, or to be heard by you, I should say. This is another episode of Parks and Conversation, and this is a podcast where we just take a little bit of time to talk about one of our favorite 100 something episodes of Parks and Recreation. And my name is Jason, and I'm joined all the way across town by my friend Jeremy. Say hello, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, man, it is going so well. As we are recording this, it is the weekend after Thanksgiving, and this is probably my favorite holiday stretch because it feels like 3 Saturdays.
Yeah.
Right? Like sometimes you go, like if you have like a week off of something, it doesn't really feel like a collection of Saturdays. It just feels like a week off. But because you're working and then stopping like in the middle of the week, it's just like, here's some Saturdays. So good.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is that football is on like every single day during that time.
Right. Yeah.
So
And I have watched none of it.
yeah,
I did watch a little bit of one of the games, and then I was like, I don't care about either of these teams, and I would rather work on my Animal Crossing village. So I did that.
Yeah, let's go eat some more food.
There was plenty of food to be had, which is it's suitable that we ended up with this episode the week after Thanksgiving, because as we're walking through season 2, episode 22, the telethon. The telethon is ultimately a effort to raise money for diabetes research in Pawnee. And as Leslie will tell us, Pawnee is 4th in obesity in the United States. And so we, after a weekend of just eating all the pie, we have this opportunity to discuss the diabetes telethon. And so the challenge is Leslie has volunteered, or I should say voluntold her department that they're going to be a part of this telethon from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So that's the tension around the whole situation. Tom is trying to be a super cool dude with a super cool dude, and doesn't work very well for him. So it's a good episode. There are many, many jokes. And as I was taking notes, I had to use paper today for my notes because I was also trying to eat breakfast while watching this. And so it was there was a lot of jokes that I had to pause several times to write down the joke. So
yeah, it's good. I think the big question right now is, what did you have for breakfast?
Bacon and eggs. So
excellent.
Pretty basic situation. Most days I have a little bit of bacon, a little bit of eggs. I did a 5.25 mile run this morning because I'm trying to get back to my pre-Thanksgiving weight, failing terribly because Thanksgiving, like I said, is a collection of Saturdays, and there's so much food here. So, So let's talk about this. It opens up with the cold open, which is completely non-connected to the rest of the episode. So that's nice. Last week, there were no jokes, and it was a very important part of the whole plot of the episode in the cold open. This one, no connection whatsoever. Andy's neighbor had some puppies. Andy's neighbor's dog had some puppies, I should say. And Andy has brought a puppy into the office, and everybody's like just so enamored with the puppy because puppies are awesome. And the only person who's not enamored with the puppy is Ron, who tells the people, like, you can't have the animal in here. This building has a no animal policy. And so Tom is like, oh, but it's just a puppy. And he brings it up to Ron's face, and the puppy starts licking it and licking Ron's face. And he doesn't seem to like that very much. So I do like the way Andy is talking about the puppies. He's like, I wish he had shoes. I'd shine his little puppy shoes for free. And Ron says, you got to take him outside. And Andy's response is, and shoot him? Which like is just extreme right away. And shoot him? And they're like, no, Ron. And Ron's like, no, you just got to take him outside. He can't be in the building. And then the licking of the face happens. And then Ron says, okay, now go shoot him. Which I don't understand how, Ron, who is a fan of all things Jack London, he doesn't like puppies, which is, where dogs come from.
Yeah, it's true.
So
I didn't even
animosity.
understand this entire cold open at all. Like, not that it has to connect with the story, but it's just this random puppy. I don't know. It's like I try to understand what the writers were thinking just a little bit, and it's why puppies? And I came up with nothing. Maybe people like puppies. I don't know.
I love puppies. I think one of the things that happens in an office is people will do things like this. Well, they'll be like, "Hey, you want Girl Scout cookies? Hey, you want puppies?" Same thing. And same level of commitment. So,
I don't know. The outcome's a little different though.
Well, maybe. So I think they're just trying to have like a normal office situation where people would like bring in their puppy, like, "Hey, we're trying to sell puppies," like that kind of thing. But it really is completely disjointed from the rest of the episode. And it makes Ron look like a big meanie head.
Yeah.
Which I don't like.
It was licking his face, like, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's a puppy.
That's gross.
Puppies are great.
They lick their butt.
Their nether regions?
Yeah. I don't want that on my face.
All right, well.
Like, here, let me wipe my own. Let me wipe my toilet paper tongue on you. Like, what? I don't know. It's weird. I get it.
But they're so cute.
Yeah.
That's all there is. I don't know. I can't. I mean, this is the cold open. Like, I feel like we're having a real rift in our friendship right now. And I think we should just move on.
All right, fine. Keep going. Let's go to
the episode proper opens up with Leslie running into the office yelling, "Fire, fire in my belly." And everybody's alarmed because she has a fire in her belly because there is the annual Pawnee Cares telethon for diabetes research happening this very night. And Leslie, like I said, told everybody that they were up for a 4-hour block in the middle of the night. And she's most excited because she spent all night up working on the slogan and the t-shirts. And I totally want these t-shirts because it says diabetes. Let's beat this. I love that. That's so
good.
Great.
That's good.
And so she's telling everybody that they're all involved. They're all going to be a part of this, and nobody really wants to. I love Ron's response. "Tell me how that went," which is very Ron. So people, they go along with Leslie's crazy schemes because they love Leslie. And I think that's the only reason that anybody is really doing this.
Well, I also think too, because like Ron says later, I owe Leslie like 1 billion favors or something. I think everybody knows how much work Leslie does in general. And so when she calls in a favor, they're like, "No, we kind of have to. She does all of our other work 364 days of the year."
Right. Yeah. So, so they're all in, they're all fine with it. And then it cuts to Mark and Leslie sitting in the courtyard, and they're eating lunch together. And Leslie's opening remarks are, "Salad sucks. There, I said it." and
it's one of my favorite things about Leslie is she hates vegetables. She's like so practical about so many things, and she's a hoarder and hates vegetables. Like, her character flaws are hilarious.
Yeah. So, yeah, salad sucks. There, I said it. And then Mark's like, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something serious." And he says he wants to no longer ask Anne to move in with him. Instead, he'd like to ask Anne to marry him.
Oh, man.
Which is a big deal.
That's a shift,
Very much. Both are, in this world, they're signs of commitment. And Mark is going even further into commitment. And Leslie has some great suggestions for how he should propose. And at one point she says, "Get 5 eagles." No, 10 eagles. Which I don't know what the eagles would do, but like, she wants to have this big thing because that's how Anne's gonna have to tell this story for the rest of her life. And so it's very important that it is a big production. And
I love how he's like, I can handle out how to ask her, and she's like, "Yeah, you're right. Get as many eagles as you want."
Yeah.
So it's been decided.
Yeah. I mean, eagles have to be there.
Right.
So
it's up to you.
Everybody knows. It's a done deal.
How many Eagles were at your proposal?
Well, any Eagles that I controlled, 0.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is the Pacific Northwest, so there could have been Eagles anywhere. I can't control Eagles. It's against the law.
Mm-hmm.
I did see a red-tailed hawk yesterday. It was awesome. That's the end of that anecdote. So I don't understand birds in so many ways. Okay. Right. Okay.
Let's do this. Here's our deep dive for the podcast. Birds.
I look outside, and I'm looking outside right now. Okay. There's birds everywhere. And most of the time,
where they live, most of them.
I would hope most of the time they seem fine with each other. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like robins and blue jays and little like swallows or something, the smaller ones. I think they call them swallow because that's how quickly you can eat them. They're all over the place, just doing bird stuff. But then a hawk or an eagle comes through, and then everybody is just like dive bombing the hawk and the eagle. And I understand they're birds of prey. They eat other birds. But like sometimes they're just passing through. Like, why can't you just let the hawk just be the hawk? And maybe if you let him just fly through, he'd stop trying to eat your eggs and he would just focus on the rabbits and stuff that he would rather have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Maybe they think that it's coming to take all their bird jobs or something.
You think so?
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Instead of like calling out where they live and saying, hey, this is where my nest is, just let it go and let it eat all the moles that make huge mounds of dirt in my yard. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Let the hawk find a way to dig and quickly get a mole.
Yeah. You know,
if other birds would just leave them alone, they'd be able to do the research.
Yeah. They're too busy getting dive bombed.
Yeah. That's what I've always said.
Why don't the hawks or the eagles just like annihilate the little birds that are kind of being pesky and flying around them? Like, that's what I don't get.
Well, I really think the hawks and the eagles are just like, I don't care about you.
Right.
Leave me alone. And so they're just flying around as like, hey, I'm just trying to get to where I know there's a dead animal and I just want to eat that dead animal.
Mm-hmm.
We just leave me be. You go eat your worms and your berries and whatever you eat. I'm going to go find, I've been playing a lot of Wingspan. I'm going to go find that carrion and I'm going to eat it. And there go some birds right now. You know, as I'm saying this, those jerks. So, where were we?
Eagles.
10 eagles. Yeah. Which that's a lot of eagles. Yeah. So Mark is going to propose. Like that's the major step that we have here. And so then cuts to Leslie giving Tom a job and she needs him because he is King Swag. Like he is a celebrity liaison for the Punny Cares telethon. And he's going to pick up small forward Detlef Schrempf. Which is a great deal for people of Indiana because he played for the Pacers. But even before that, it's a great deal for the people of Seattle because he played for our very own Seattle Supersonics. And he was awesome.
And it's a great deal for the people of Lewis County because he played for Centralia High School. Did
he really?
He did. He was an exchange student.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah.
So did he go from Lewis County High School to a U.S. college?
Yeah, he went to University of Washington.
No way.
Yep. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
He was a Husky. He was a Centralia Bearcat and then Washington Husky. And then the Mavericks had drafted him. So he was sixth man of the year for a while. He made some NBA All-Stars. And yeah, he played a lot of his career in Seattle. A very beloved person here in the Northwest.
Yes. Yeah. And I do love how Tom's interactions with Detlef Schrempf, because he is supposed to pick him up from the airport and take him to the telethon. Instead, he takes him to Snake Hole Lounge.
Perfect.
Which is a great plan. And he realizes that for the first time in Tom's life, he realizes that like athletes are popular.
Right. Who'd
They're
have
like,
known?
where have you been? And so like this, you can't extract him from Snake Hole Lounge, which creates some problems later. But it also shows us Tom is learning something important for his future. That Detlef Schrempf is going to be a key part of his business plans moving
Business model,
forward.
right?
Yeah, so
Well, also the Snake Hole Lounge owner's kind of a creep. I mean, we kind of knew that. Like we thought about it, the way they dressed him up and stuff. But he says he's staying. Like he basically tells Tom, "I'm keeping Detlef Schrempf here." Which at the same time, you got a 6'10", small forward in the like nobody keeps Detlef Schrempf anywhere. I don't think so. That part kind of bugged me. It's like I'm out of here.
Goes where he wants.
I would think, but at the same time, he's a really nice guy. So he's like, well, I guess this is where I am. Yeah.
I feel like I wonder where Detlef lives now because I feel like he should just still live here in the Seattle area.
I have no idea. Maybe he went back to Germany. I don't know.
Well, why would you ever? But I think he would be if he was here and doing like ads for like local furniture stores. He would be making a killing. Like people like those stores.
Do you need a big chair?
Yeah. Hey, are you feeling boxed in? Do you need to throw some elbows? Come down here on our Black Friday sale at Dania Furniture and really show people what's up.
Going out of business.
Underhills
for the 10th year in a row.
Yeah, this Underhills, we're real close to closing down forever. Fire sale. But no, anyway. I just think he has this great way about him. I would love for him to do more television in our region.
I think he lives somewhere in the Seattle area based on this Wikipedia page that I just opened up.
Like you and Tom.
Oh, yeah.
That's how Tom also learned about Detlef Schrempf.
Oh, you Wikipedia. Yeah, that was very funny. Anyway, let's just keep going.
All right. So Leslie's been up for 24 hours already, and she's going to be up for another 24 hours. And she has a secret weapon. She's going to eat Nutrium bars.
Perfect.
And Anne is very concerned about her. And Leslie says, you'll sleep when you're dead. That's what my Nana always says. And then she gives a bunch of Nana sayings. My favorite is, don't put me in a home.
Yeah.
The devil knows where you're sleeping. The devil was watching you. She had a lot of the stuff to say about the devil. So Nana sayings were great. Did you catch any of your favorite Nana sayings?
No, don't put me in a home was good because they were just part of like these little colloquialisms plus don't put me in a home. So perfect.
Right.
Perfect joke.
Like she said it enough that it was like, this is one of her sayings. So it's not something that people pray for. Like, hey, I'd rather just be home and comfortable with my family. But no, she'd always just say, don't put me in a home. So Tom goes and gets Detlef and he's got him gonna go take him out and have a good time. And one of my favorite interactions in that is Tom is driving and Detlef's in the back seat, which, there's no reason for that. Tom's car is not that big or fancy. Like you let him sit in the front seat, but
I think he's trying to pretend like he's a limo.
Right. But it sets up the best joke.
Yeah.
Like, do you have enough room back there? It's like, yeah, you don't have to sit so far forward. Yes, I do. That was one of my favorite jokes.
Yeah.
And that's one where I pause. Like, yes, I do.
Well, I love it even when the actors like just acknowledge, like, is like, yeah, I'm fine to make fun of myself. I know I'm short. It's fine.
Right. And you and I are both tall people.
Yeah.
And I've sat in the back seat of many cars. And there are many times where I'm like, can you scoot up just a little bit? And that would be awesome. I feel like I'm birthing you. And so when people like are way up in their seat and like I say like you can back up, like I'm trying to be nice,
right?
Like it's like I have plenty of room back here, you can back up. And when they do say, I've been in that situation where like, no, I need to sit this close. Like, oh, you're a very short person.
I don't want them so crammed up against the steering wheel and the dashboard and everything that they can't drive. I would rather be a little uncomfortable than unsafe.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like as tall people of America, like we have learned that the world is not made for us. We are not average. And so while we are uncomfortable, we have also learned how to fold ourselves to fit into airplanes. those kinds of situations where like we don't have debt left money. We're not flying first class.
No.
And so like we just kind of get used to it.
You learn to live with the blood loss in the lower half of your body,
Right. Yeah. And you realize like this is all part of the trade-off of being able to reach things your kids can't.
Exactly.
And I can put my candy wherever I want because you're never going to get there.
That's right.
Except
and help old ladies at the grocery store.
Old ladies, they could always use some help. I'm here for them. I'm here. I can reach that for you. I can hold this freezer door open while you look at all the ice cream.
Well, and the best part is that they don't really ask. They just kind of tell you. Like they walk up to you and say, hand me that can up there. Okay. Okay. Well, that's all the old ladies I've ever dealt with. I don't have like candy. It's like, no, can you give me those beans up there? That's the last one of the on sale ones. Oh, okay. What if I say no? Like I should just try that once. No, thank you.
Don't say no, thank you. Just look at her and go,
nah, I don't want
to. Or turnabout is fair play. Like, give me the one thing from the way down there. How does that feel?
How about I just lift you up and you grab it?
You want to see the world from my view? I'm going to put you in a backpack so you can understand like how I feel every time somebody tells me to reach something for them.
That's right. How do you like
demoralizing,
grandma?
Yeah, we showed those hypothetical old ladies.
I already feel better. Ready to hit QFC with vigor.
Yeah, just going around like you own the place, but be sure to only go down the one aisle and then the other one. Like, don't go down any aisle willy-nilly. You're not a monster.
No. Not in
Follow
these
the arrows.
That's right. In these times of COVID, just in case, 20 years from now, people listen to this and go, what are you talking about?
Jeremy, you're making a lot of assumptions that this world will exist in 20 years.
Some people call me an optimist. Those people would be wrong, but they do it anyway.
That's because they're optimists. They're projecting. And I hate that. So, all right. So they get to the telethon and Donna is sitting there and Leslie's like giving everybody like the talk, like just you're here to tell people how much money they want to give, basically, or find out how much they want to give, not tell them. And Donna asks, do these call out? And I was like, yeah, right away. Donna starts dialing the phone. And so, and then Joan Calamezzo comes and she is like, I see you're in front of the camera this year. Telehosting is not as easy as you think. And it cuts to her and Martin Housley, who is the guy who does a lot of these kinds of engagements at in Pawnee. He did the MC for the Miss Pawnee competition. And he immediately gives a Nixon impression when Joan Calamezzo says, I'm Joan Calamezzo. And Martin Housley says, and I am not a crook. And
out
Joan
of context, Nixon.
Yeah.
What?
Joan is immediately put off. You could see in her face. She's like,
right.
And then they Joan tells the people like what's going on, and she says, "We're hoping that you dig your big chubby hands into your plus size pockets." So many good jokes. Yeah. And then there's like, we're gonna watch this video called "Even My Tongue Is Fat," and and Martin is like, does a Johnny Carson impression. That's weird, wild stuff. And Joan just is like, please stop.
But she's like, shoes, like, stop it. Like, stop it. Like yes. A dog, like doing something wrong.
Like everybody knows Martin Housley. Like this is what he does. And Joan is like, this is my house now. And so there's a little territorialness, I think, with that. But oh man, so just great setup because, growing up without cable in the Pacific Northwest, we had only the shows that were on. Like on the few networks. Yeah, like local shows. And we had these kinds of telethons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And they were awful. So bad.
Oh, yeah. We talked about dialing for dollars, the afternoon, people. Yeah, they were not great. Art Peterson. I mean, nice guy, but very low quality presentations.
No, yeah, and so like, there's no reason why anybody would want to watch this for 24 hours.
Right. I love how Joan says to Leslie, "This isn't C-SPAN. This is local." Blah blah blah. And so it's
Yeah.
like even C-SPAN she thinks is below her, which
Right.
is really funny.
Which could be the case. Like, I mean,
could be.
She does find a way to make some very compelling television on her show. So,
Well, yeah, because then the Housley introduces Denise Yermley.
Yes.
Yermley, and she
Yes.
starts singing the most bookable
yes,
entertainment and funny, the
Bonnie's most bookable personality.
Yeah, which is just such a great like underhanded slam. Like
Yes.
she's always available. Why? Well, let's listen to her sing "Sweet Dreams Are Made of These."
Oh man, oh so good. It's like, that's a Eurythmics song, and when I hear that song, I am like, yes, I really like this song, and it's maybe the only Eurythmics song I know. And then she's singing it. And I'm like, I do not like this song.
but the thing for me, it's almost switched around because it's the Eurythmics. But as soon as she started singing it, I laughed because I kind of associated that song with the Marilyn Manson version, only because it became so big. And so then just seeing her and then Marilyn Manson's face at the same time, I don't know. The disconnect there is just, I don't know. It's too much. So
yeah. Oh, that like minute and a half of television, maybe one of the all-time greatest segments of TV ever.
Well, and it's great too because it's all these. This is keep coming back to it. It's all these sub characters just living their lives. Like this is how nuts Pawnee is. It just shows that like Joan is aware of the obesity, the chubby fingers, the terrible impressions by Housley, Denise Yermley. I mean, it's all secondary characters. It's so fantastic.
And this episode has so many of the secondary characters on display for us.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, this is, if they did not have to do the setup that they needed for the season finale, like doing a Pawnee telethon would have been a great season finale.
Yeah. And I almost wish they had done a telethon almost every year or some variation of it, just because of the characters they can kind of bring out. And just
that would be great.
Great vehicle. Anyway,
if only we could go back in time. So, so
Leslie starts to get really tired. She's starting to lose it,
and she starts eating the Nutrion bars, and she starts losing her mind, like going crazy. And she's like, I don't know what's in this. And Anne's response is sugar. Sugar is in this.
It's just a block of sugar.
Blocks of sugar. And Anne wants to talk to Leslie about Mark, but as they're about to have that conversation, Tom calls because he took Detlef to the Snake Hole Lounge, and the owner won't let Tom leave, as we said. So then Leslie starts to scramble and improvise, and so she starts moving the schedule around. So she moves Mouse Rat up, and so they're going to go on earlier. And he's like, yeah, headlining at 2 a.m. Good job.
That was April. Because April's still kind of like on a little bit sore at Andy, I feel. Like she was very sarcastic, and I'm like, yeah, great job, 2 a.m. Where usually she's kind of supportive. So she's back, but she's still a little, little cranky at Andy, I feel.
Yeah, I think with good cause.
Yeah.
Because she's putting herself out there. Like, hey, Andy, I'm into you. And Andy's like, I'm trying to figure out my life. So, so they're going to go and play. And their opening song is called Sex Hair. And it's playing in the background for so much of this telethon. And they're actually losing money at this point. Then Leslie gets on camera and she says there's 2 types of diabetes and 1 type of caring. Type 1 caring. Tonight, we will all be strucken with that.
Yeah.
Type 1 caring. And then more Tom hanging out with Detlef. And then Ron is sleeping because he needs to get a good solid 5 hours. Otherwise, it affects his sunny disposition. And while he's sleeping, he is fighting. And we find out that he suffers from an affliction called sleep fighting. And she said, oh, that sounds terrible. And he tells Leslie, only when I'm losing. So, and this is where we find out that Ron is only doing this because he owes Leslie big time. And he's kind of opposed to charity in any way. He's like, teach a man to fish. Eats for a day. Don't teach a man to fish because fishing's not that hard, and he's an adult.
Feed yourself.
So then Leslie goes to the troops and is like, I need help. I need programming. And Jerry's like, I have magic. And he makes an egg appear from her mouth. And Leslie's like grossed out. She grabs it and throws it on the ground. It's like, fake, it's a real egg. And she's like, oh, go do that. And he's like, well, you just broke my egg.
Why didn't you have a second egg?
Yes. Which
always
the real question is, why does Jerry have this egg? What is that about? So then Ron's like, I got this figured out, and he shows how to recane a chair. And this is where
Jerry asks, like, he's like, I can play piano, and she's like, why are you wasting time with this stuff? Which it just comes in later. And I was watching this with Terry, and she's like, what would happen if they just let Jerry do his ideas? Like they give him such a bad time, like the pointillism mural picture in City Hall, in that episode, and then now with either magic or the piano, which he does end up playing the piano, but he has these good ideas, and you just kind of wonder how much better would the show be if, or how much better would the things turn out if Jerry could kind of just do the things that he comes up with, because he's one of the smarter guys in the office sometimes, as long as you don't ask him to bend over or do a presentation.
Right, because it's twat season. I think if Jerry was allowed to do his ideas, Pawnee would be a better city.
Yeah,
but it would not be a better show.
No, hopefully he gets in a position to actually do the things he wants to do in Pawnee. I don't know.
We'll see. So Ron is recaning a chair. It's like when you are recaning a chair, you want to make sure you have all your stuff ready to go. So first you go over, under, and then, that's right, over again. So
you guessed it.
You guessed it. Right. And so while Ron's doing that, April's on the phone, and she is trying to make Andy jealous because Andy's hanging out by the phone bank, and she starts like flirting with whoever she's on the phone. Like, you're so funny. Oh, that's so great. You should come down here. You're so funny. And then it seems like whatever the dude is saying starts creeping her out, because she's like, oh yeah, okay, bye, you're funny, and hangs up. So her attempt to make Andy jealous failed, but it did, have an effect of making her creeped out. And we'll see that the guy actually does come down to the TV station.
Right.
And then it cuts to the telethon again, and Barney Varman, who is one of the instructors that we met for the dinner party for tax or personal finance software. His joke at that point was, when it comes to accounting software, there's no accounting for taste. And Andy loved that joke at the party.
Yeah.
And then he will.
Oh, this time was the only thing that's taxing, right? Isn't that was that the one that he said?
Yes. Yeah. The only thing when it comes to accounting software, the only thing that's tax software, the only thing that's taxing is choosing the right software. And then he has another joke later where he says that concludes a quick look at QuickBooks Pro. and Andy loved that joke, and he even says it, QuickBooks.
I think he even said, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And so things are not going great at the telethon. And so this is where Leslie says Mark should propose on the telethon, because people love beautiful people making out. And so she's got a whole plan going, and Mark's like, I don't know, should I? But he does.
But first,
try.
But first, they have to cut to an educational video called "One Butt, Two Seats: The Widening of America."
Yes. Oh man, so good, so good. Oh, so many great shows and videos, educational about the diabetes problem, and thankfully they did diabeat this. And then Anne. So Leslie's putting this plan in motion for Mark to propose, but then Anne comes to Leslie and says, I don't think I should marry Mark. I don't think he's the one. So she thinks she needs to break up with him, which puts Leslie in a difficult situation because she's kind of stuck. So she's trying to call Mark and say, hey, everything I said, don't do that. So that's happening and spinning out of control for Leslie because she doesn't sleep. And then Sewage Joe shows up at the station. And he was the guy who April was talking to on the phone. And he's like, hey, I got my van out back. Let's go. And then Andy intervenes. He's like, and I love Sewage Joe's remark and Andy's response, because Andy is just looking at Sewage Joe, and Joe looks at April like, is this guy bothering you? And Andy says, no, I'm bothering you. Which I was like, yeah, Andy nailed it.
And then he said, from bothering her.
Yeah.
Is this guy bothering you? No, I'm bothering you from bothering her. I was like, I had to stop. I was like, wait, does that make, yeah, okay, that does make sense.
Yeah, it totally works. Yeah. So, and he like pushes, basically escorts Sewage Joe out of the building, and April is smiling at this. So
I love that Sewage Joe is like, whatever, man. I work at sewage. I'm surrounded by hot chicks. It's like, what? Because we
know this. Yeah,
I know. And so it's just like, I love that they just keep making like that's not a thing. It's not real. But in Pawnee, it is. So more power to you.
We're going to learn so much about Sewage Joe over the coming years that we never wanted to learn, and.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's show's not going well. Still no deadlift shrimp. So Leslie is flipping a coin on television, trying to figure out what's going on, and also has the idea of talking about Friends episodes, which are her favorite. And I love the one where she pauses and is like, "Is Phoebe there?" And waits many seconds. Is like, Yes, Phoebe is there. So.
My favorite part is the box. It's like, oh yeah, okay, but also there's a box because she tells stories like I do. It's like you don't have all the information, and then 3/4 of the way through, it's like, oh, that's right. Hold on. Back at the beginning, there's this goat, right? Okay, this is hilarious, right? Yeah, and then it just kind of fizzles out.
So
just
good,
like that story. There's no punchline.
The story of this anecdote is it's over. And then her next idea is drinking 8 glasses of milk in 3 minutes, and Anne intervenes and says, don't do that, you'll die. So the show's not going well, and Leslie is out of ideas, and so she finally lets Jerry play his piano, and it's beautiful. He's a really good piano player. And as soon as the song's over, Leslie gets up and is like, that's enough of that racket.
It's been the best thing on the entire night, right?
Yes, that's enough of that racket. And so Leslie is talking and still waiting for Detlef to show up, and Mark shows up at the same time, and she's kind of stuck because he's like, I'm ready to do the proposal now, and he's like, and Leslie's like, no, don't do it. Let's all pull our pants down for diabetes. And the show cuts away to technical difficulties, which I loved,
with a raccoon as the character. It's so great.
Yeah. So they kind of hook away, and Joan, and when it comes back, Joan comes on. I was like, you just love flashing. And her response is, it's for a good cause.
But it's for a good cause, yeah, because she had to prove that she didn't have the birthmark in the
right. Yeah. So good. And then this is when Detlef finally shows up, and he gives $5,000 for a diabetes research. And it pushes them over to $22,000 for the goal. Leslie's goal was to get to $20,000 by the end of their shift, and so she exceeded her goal at the last possible minute. And at 6:04, Perd is taken over, and he's doing the worm as his opening showcase for his segment. And Ron is back in the dressing room and wakes up, and he sees Perd doing the worm. He's like, what the bleep are you up to, Perd? So I just love how so many people just, this is where we live.
Right.
And, and that was one of those perfect little moments. Like, yeah, this is where we live. What's Perd doing? Oh, who knows? It's on. It's on TV. So Leslie has, made it so Mark was not going to propose on television. So that's good. And then she goes to Anne's house after their shift to talk. And she's like, I'm really tired. I may have parked on your front lawn. And she did. And so they go inside, and then the credit scene is Anne saying, yeah, Leslie's a great friend. She came over and we talked, and then she fell asleep on my couch. She's been asleep for 22 hours. So, which is great. And Anne is doing all the normal stuff people do in their house, vacuuming, dropping dishes, all kinds of things that Leslie just sleeps all the way through. So, anything else from this episode that we need to cover? I mean, we talked about a lot of it.
No, we did. I think we talked. Yeah, I think, just the very end where Anne just says, I love her so much, but I think I'm going to draw a mustache on her.
Yeah. That's a good friend right there.
Last joke. Yeah. No, I think a little bit of trivia was that during the telethon, Donna calls her brother George, who's visiting their uncle in Liberia, and he wants to know what happened on Lost. And she's like, "You're not allowed to receive calls." She's like, "Oh, don't worry, I called out," which I thought was really funny.
Right.
But it turns out that Retta is the niece. Retta, who plays Donna, is the niece of Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was also first elected female head of state in Africa and present during the episode's original airing. Which actually,
in real life, Retta is related to the president of Liberia?
Yeah, according to this trivia on IMDb that I'm reading.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So it was nice that they kind of worked that in there.
That's
so now
awesome.
I have to know if she's really related to Genuine. I don't know.
Oh, my word. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. There's another little bit here, not as interesting, so I should have led with this because it has to do with khaki pants. When Mark asks the cameraman what he should do, whether he should ask Anne to marry him or not, it's one of the very few instances where a character actually acknowledges the camera crew, not breaking the fourth wall and looking at the audience, but actually addressing the camera crew, which they do way later in The Office, a lot later in The Office, but.
That's funny.
That's about it.
Yeah. I was watching a movie with our kids this weekend, The Family Stone. It's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And Mark is in it.
Oh, interesting.
And have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
Oh, it's not the best movie in the world, but it's not terrible. It's like a good Christmas movie. It follows all the tropes. It does the whole thing.
Good.
But it was as soon as Mark showed up, I was like, "Oh, khaki pants."
Does he play?
He plays like an EMT, and he's a part of the show. Like he's a part of the movie. Like he becomes a major part of this thing later on. Like not a major, but it's significant anyway.
But is he like Mark from like? Does he play like the same kind of guy, or is he different? Like, does he have range?
This is the only other thing I've seen him playing, and I would say he seems the same.
Okay.
So no, I don't think he has range other than this is in a different town than Pawnee. That's a range geographically different. Right?
Yeah.
So
that counts, I guess.
It was snowy.
Yeah.
I think they're up in Maine or something. So yeah, but it was just one of those things where I was just like, oh, khaki pants. And the kids were like, what? I'm like, oh, this is Mark from Parks and Rec. And they're like, why'd you call him khaki pants? Like, because he's boring, like khaki pants.
Don't you listen to the podcast?
Turns out my kids don't listen to this podcast unless I'm playing for in the car for them
unless
as punishment.
Oh man, we're not.
You're gonna listen to this and you're gonna like it. So
we're not hip with the cool kids, I guess.
No, we're not. Which is fine.
Oh, at the bottom of the trivia, the spoilers part, Leslie asks April how she and Andy are doing, and April tells her, that they're doing great and they're going to get married and have babies, and they eventually do. So spoilers there. But
spoilers! I'm glad this was at the very end of our recording.
It's a rewatch.
Yeah,
so,
for us.
Well,
for us.
All right.
So next episode is real good. I'm going to click next on this. And it is called The Master Plan. And this is a big deal because
it's a big deal.
This is getting close to the season finale. Now, I feel like these two episodes were recorded, were aired as one episode. Am I making things up in my brain?
I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember how it was aired.
So it was, I'll have to do some research, which I won't, but, so we're going to get some introductions to some very important characters for the rest of the series, and it's going to be great. Khaki Pants is almost on his way out, and yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to the future of Pawnee under the leadership of Chris Traeger.
Nice.
So,
yep. Yeah, the show definitely takes it's going to get a lot, I don't want to say funnier, but it smooths out a little bit, I feel, like the character development and just where, a lot of the jokes, the in-jokes, it really, really starts to take off in the next. And they actually do. It takes a little bit to get Ben and Chris kind of integrated into the, like, figuring out what their characters are going to be and how they're going to contribute. But it works out. I like it. And I like that they set it up at the end of this season versus the beginning of season 3, because then, it kind of lets season 2 end on a cliffhanger, which is fun.
Right. Yeah. And the return to season 3 is so great. It's so great. There's jokes that are set up in this episode or in season 2 that get paid off in the premiere of season 3. So I'm looking forward to it. We're also going to have another visit from John Ralphio in this next episode. So many good things. So
good.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that said, we should be done because it's one of our many Saturdays this week, and it's not raining right now, so we can go and harass some birds. Say, how do you like it? So
just go outside and start squawking.
Well, that's usually what I do, but that's just part of my practice. So,
well, you do you, and I'm gonna go not do that. But
all right.
But we can talk next week, and we'll see how it went.
I'll be here because I can't go anywhere.
Sounds good. All right, man. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.